So here's a fun and really common type of feature that we might want to add to this thing. We need to be able to grab the back of this battery door to kind of slide it down, right? And we need a scallop out of this in order to do that. So let's grab the top plane and create a sketch on it. And I'm actually going to hit Control-8 to flip the orientation of my view so we can see the bottom of this thing. I'll grab my slot tool, and you can actually do a center point straight slot. And that will do a slot from the middle. And then I'll click here in the middle, and click out here on the side a little bit, and create my slot. And that's about the size that I want. I don't have to center this, but that's just what I did. I'm happy with it. That's fine. And now this will be our scallop. So let's exit that sketch. And now we actually need another piece of geometry here. What we're going to do is extrude this from down here. We're going to extrude it up and cut into our object by a certain amount. To do that, we need a face. We need a surface for it to extrude up to. And so let's go to our Surfaces tab and to Offset Surface. And we can offset surfaces of solids just like we can offset surfaces. So let's select these faces. All four of these bottom faces, we're offsetting those outward right now by 10 millimeters. I want to offset this by, let's say, 1.5 millimeters, and I want to offset it inward. So I'll flip that direction, so we're going into the product. Hit OK, and nothing visually has changed in our model because, drumroll please, let's hide this battery compartment for a second. There's our new surface. It's now inside of our battery compartment. Right? So what we want to do is, let's show this again. And just for fun, let's take that and let's make that transparent. So change transparency. And that's actually going to make that transparent so we can see that offset surface inside there. And let's go to our features and do an extruded cut. I'll select our slot that we created. And right now, it's extruding down from the sketch plane, right? So let's look over here in our options and see what we can do about that. In the extrude cut options at the top, we have a from parameter. So right now, it's extruding from the sketch plane. Well, we can drop that down and do from offset. And then we can offset by whatever distance we want. And right now, it's offsetting up. But let's click this button here, and that'll offset down by 30 millimeters. That's fine. Next, we're going to say direction 1, and we need to flip that direction, clicking the reverse direction button. So we're going up toward our product. And what we want to do is go right up to that new surface we just created, right? So instead of blind, let's go up to surface. And here's a really dumb thing. If I click on the surface body here in my tree, it doesn't work, right? That's annoying. Well, the reason is because in some cases in SolidWorks, they haven't implemented the ability to click things in the tree. They really need to fix that. So if you are a SolidWorks employee, please complain about that for me. But in the meantime, what we have to do to select this is select it from the viewport. And the easiest way to do that is to right-click right where you would click on that object and say Select Other, because otherwise it's going to select that exterior face, and then go in here and choose what it is that you're selecting. In this case, we're trying to select that surface body inside there. Grab that, and now it's working. We're cutting straight up to that surface body, you can see. Hit OK. And now our cut is in place. We can hide that surface offset that we just created. We can find that solid body in the tree, right-click it, and change its transparency back to solid. And the scallop, we can actually, a quick way of rounding this off is to go to our fillet tool and just fillet this inside edge, but do it with a great big radius, right? And actually what it'll do is kind of trim that off intelligently and pull the other edge in the distance that it should, and it actually looks pretty good. So I just put a 10 millimeter fillet on there, and that is a pretty nice scallop, right? So now we can close this document, save it, go back to our big assembly, and we now have multiple iterations here in this assembly, iteration 1 and iteration 2. I'll just hide that new iteration. And you can imagine just creating as many of these as you want.